Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we gotta look at the new Tiger 59. British light cruiser. I got Dimitri Dewey and Yamamoto on my build. Good inspirations for these because they only have AP shells. So a lot of these British light cruisers, that's all you got. I'm going to be comparing the Tiger 59 to the Fiji, the Tech Tree ship, very solid ship, and also the Belfast, which was this is also available, and they're both available for the same price, 12,500 doubloons. Not cheap, but nonetheless, if you're going to be inclined to buy these, I'll kind of go over my thoughts on the Tiger 59 versus the Belfast and even the Fiji towards the end of the video. I'm actually going to narrate the first half of this game because I think that's where there's opportunity for players to learn, both destroyer players and cruiser players. And then the second half will kind of quickly run down the ship, and I'll give you my thoughts on where it ranks. Okay, so we're spawned with a Benson here. Now, I always say these British light cruisers are pretty good division ships. So if you got a friend or some friends that you always play with, you're always playing in divisions, consider the British light cruisers, especially if you got a guy on your team that likes to play destroyers and he knows what he's doing. Okay, because here's what we would love to have: some good destroyer play. I'll tell you what I'd like to have happen. The Benson, go onto the cap, meet the enemy destroyer there, right? And either the enemy destroyer is going to be spawned south of sea, or if he spawns in the middle, hopefully he's going to come over to sea, notice they need some help over here, otherwise we can grab the cap. Benson, go ahead and take the free cap. That's a great play. Or, you know, it's very unlikely both destroyers would be south of B, but in which case they'd still have trouble taking the cap. Okay, so our Benson, their destroyer de jure, they kind of meet on sea, they clash, they drop the smoke. Meanwhile, I'm close enough to support, so I'm shooting as well. We got Benson and Tiger versus destroyer. I drop my smoke, and now once those destroyers drop spot because of the smoke clouds, boom, radar. We got a radar on this thing, same radar that the Belfast has, 8.5 kilometers, and now you got a close quarters British light cruiser and the Benson raining terror down on the destroyer, whatever it is. It's going to go down. Okay, you're going to kill that destroyer 95 out of 100 times, 98 out of 100 times, and you're going to get that cap a very high percentage of the time as well. See, here's the radar. Where's the support for the Benson? He's off out west. He's got people to torp, places to go to. So, you know, this is kind of... I like these British light cruisers a lot. I think they're a lot of fun to play. But I usually play the game solo, and it's just like half the time you're like, okay, I know what I need you guys to do. You don't know what I need you to do. Maybe you don't even know what needs to be done in general, but it's very, you know, it's tough to get on the same page, you know, absent getting on the comms and talking to people. So that's a pretty good play on paper, but you need players that know what they're doing to pull it off. And here's another good example. We were kind of oriented to the left here, expecting, because we're covering C, and once again we're expecting destroyer presence there. Either he sees us, he aims the torps, or he just zones the torps, you know, kind of throws torps into sea. Either way, if they show up on the screen there, then we can just hit the gas for a little bit. We got a nice quick start on the British light cruisers, and we can easily dodge those torps. So we kind of set up in advance to counter the torpedoes, right? So you always want to be thinking 1 or 2 or 3 steps forward in this game. That's one of the key things that you need to be, you know, you get it with more and more experience. So a couple of good plays there. But once again, you know, I mean, if that Benson does what I outlined, then the red destroyer is dead here. We got the cap, and red is in serious trouble. Okay, they do kill our destroyer on the eastern side of the map, but then we trade there. And the Weimar, we just saw the ship a couple days ago, how terrifying it can be. One of those ships that if you see it out there, just go ahead and get it. Luckily, someone on our team already whacked him pretty easily, or pretty well, and we took him out pretty easily. So he's gone. We got a Fiji playing the island. We got a Tennessee coming around here. And at this point in time, I got to get out of here, right? With the destroyers committing suicide on the western edge of the map. These torps, I was backing up. I'm like, well, could I gun it? Maybe, but probably not. We're probably going to eat those anyway, so I kind of elect to take one, make sure we angle for the follow-up salvo, and then we're going to get out of here. Okay, now, do I need to get all the way out of here, or can we continue to support the side? That's going to be the question, but we are getting spotted by this destroyer that we can't see until the radar's back up, and we really don't have a lot of support ships that are doing much. So this is not a ship we want to be tanking damage in, okay, even though we got better armor than the Fiji, the Belfast, half the battleships plus that we run into can shoot us through our armor. It doesn't matter what we got. And, you know, the rest of them, if we're making angling mistakes, we're in serious trouble. So, not a ship that we want to be tanking damage. Like, let's say we're playing in Alaska or something like that. That's not this type of ship, right? If you get shot, you're probably going to have a hard time. You'll have some success angling against cruisers, and like we pointed out at the beginning of the video, you got kind of the best armor out of these Tier 6 British light cruisers. But let's jump into the analysis here as we continue to attack sea here. First off, DPM. Okay, we got 4 guns on the Tiger 59. Now, they reload every 3 seconds compared to 7.1 on the Belfast / Fiji, but those ships have 12 guns. Okay, and even though we have some raw AP damage numbers that are a little bit higher on this, the damage per minute on the Fiji and the Belfast, 3,309 and 515 to be precise. So about 340,000 damage per minute, theoretical of course, compared to the Tiger, 276,480. Okay, so that's a huge, that's about a 19% decrease in terms of damage output. Don't have torpedoes either. Now the Belfast, if I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure I do, that one doesn't have torps either, but the Fiji does. Alright, now those are valuable. Let me just double check that. It's been a couple days. Yeah, the no torps on the Belfast either. So those are helpful kind of defending yourself. You're not going to be wanting to rush battleships, of course, or anything. But if you're playing a Fiji or posted up on an island, someone's rushing you, you got that defensive capability. Belfast, Tiger, no. Keep that in mind. Okay, so the advantages Tiger has are the best armor scheme out of the 3. It's got the radar, which the Fiji doesn't have. The Belfast has the same radar. And what a lot of people won't really notice unless you're diving in the consumables, super heal. Okay, this thing, the heal, now it doesn't last quite as long as the Fiji or the Belfast, but we're talking about 661 HP healed per second on the Tiger, as opposed to 176 or 156 on the other two. Okay, they get 8 seconds more duration, but still, much more health recovered on the Tiger. Okay, so that's, you know, a lot of these British ships in general have pretty good heals, but some of them much better heals than other, and the Tiger is one of them. So occasionally you're going to take some whacks here and there, but especially, I can't remember the guy's commander, but there's the guy that Tenet, I think his name is, where it reduced the Citadel damage. Citadel damage is not healable in general, not nearly to the extent that regular, you know, HE damage, flood damage, regular pen damages. So if you're going to go the Tenet route, then the heal becomes even more valuable because it preserves the damage that you can heal. So I think the Tiger 59 is a pretty good ship. And the question becomes, do we need it if we got the Fiji? Do we need it if we got the Belfast? And especially right now, we got the Belfast and the Tiger 59 available. Now the Tiger 59 is kind of the new kid on the block, so that's got the packages. If you're looking to spend a little bit of money and get some more, you know, promotion orders, insignia, stuff like that, along with the ship, I think the Tiger 59 is pretty good. And I've had some pretty good games, but there's going to be sequences like this where, man, we're getting shots after shots after shots, and it's just like the damage isn't going down. Now, you could say that about a lot of these British battleships, or light cruisers, sorry. If we're firing on angled battleships, for instance, well, sometimes we're not going to get the damage. But comparing 4 guns compared to, you know, the 12 on the other ones, even though the reload's over twice as fast, just, you're not going to get those kind of crazy Fiji type games, Belfast type games where like, wow, I was really laying into the guy. The other advantage the Belfast has, of course, is the ability to swap to the HE shells. Now, I've never thought the Belfast guns were that amazing, but they are versatile. Okay, like compared to the Fiji, Edinburgh, Minotaur, of course, where those are just strictly AP type shells, they got the enhanced penetration angles. Belfast has never been as menacing, really. I mean, you can get some nasty shots with it, of course, but why I like the Belfast in general is because Okay, if the guy's angled, like that battleship a moment ago, well, then we can go overhead, go switch over the HE, try and get some fires going, get some more reliable kind of background damage using those lesser damaging shells with the HE, but more reliable because we don't have to be penetrating the armor. So you lose that versatility, but once again, we got the better heal, we got the same radar, and the armor scheme somewhat better. Okay, so that's really the breakdown. Other than that, the stats are pretty comparable. Okay, in terms of offensive capabilities, maneuverability, detection's identical. So that's kind of my rundown on it. Okay, if you really like the British cruisers, the British light cruisers, and especially if you got a division mate, then I think Tiger 59 becomes more appealing. If I was gonna, if they said to me, okay, you can have either the Tiger or the Belfast, which do you want? I'm gonna go Belfast, personally. But I'll still play the Tiger since I got it. I think it's pretty good, and it's kind of a little bit more unique in certain aspects. But this is once again that ship that if I was regularly playing in a division, especially with a good destroyer player, I think this one would be a ship that I would play a lot more than that. So Belfast, I think, is a solo player and in general just an overall better ship. So anyway, jumping back into the game, not a huge damage game. I think we're going to get the top score here. We're attempting to get the second base. But you can see the two remaining red ships, they've kind of been driven off to the western side of the map. There's no caps on the edges of the map, guys. Really, we talk about this a lot, but draw like an oval around those 4 caps on the map. Maybe extend it a square outward. That's where your ship should be the vast majority of the time, all right? If you're finding yourselves way outside of those zones of control, the zones of importance, you're not in the right spot. Okay, that's very fundamental to this game. Okay, you cannot win the games if you're conceding the center of the map and the map, the areas around the caps. That's how you win the game. So that's a look at the Tiger 59 for you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. We got lots of World of Warships coming all the time for you. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you guys, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.